So before everything, I must remind you that there are dozens of prospecting tools, each with different characteristics. I don't know all of them. I didn't use all of them. So I'm going to be pretty concise about the different tools because you have to discover this by yourself. What I will do is give you a list at the end of the workshops of, for me, the best prospection tools and how you can combine them in order to be very efficient. So for these workshops, I try to do a case study. So I base everything on something real. So the different tools that we are going to see. So for scrapping, I use Phantom Buster and Scrap.io. I will explain later what scrapping is if some of you are not comfortable with that word. And to source and contact, I use Sales Navigator and Wallaxy. And then we are not going to spend a lot of time on it, but to go further, we also use HubSpot and Lemlist. So for the case study, with a friend, I'm actually doing it, but it's very, very new and we don't have the habilitation yet. So I did not did a prospection campaign, but the company is a training center that focuses on delivering security and health formation to employees. Donc in French, it's called formation assistée. Donc c'est salarié sauveteur secouriste. And we decided to focus on the startups and small to medium enterprise ecosystem because we think that this target is not addressed by training. This is what we are trying to do with a friend. And so I tried to build a prospection strategy based on that idea. So first of all, I need, and I think all of you did, to determine what target I want to address. So for us, there is both a B2C and a B2C and a B2B segment. So our B2B segment is going to be all actors in this ecosystem who are not startups, so incubators, co-working, accelerators, organization as France Active or Réseau Entreprendre. And to offer partnerships, packages, discounts, and visibility. And then we have two different targets in the B2C segment. The first one being the CEOs and co-founders or founders of startups, because they are the decision makers in small companies. And we think that it can become a criteria of a healthy environment to make training available for your employees in the startups. And then we are going to target directly the employee and of startups and SMEs because they do have some credits given by an organism called Pôle emploi that they can use to pay this formation. So for non-French, it's a bit complicated, but for others, it's going to speak to you because les crédits CPS, if you've been employed once in your life, you know that you can have it and you can use it on different trainings. So this is our targets. So on B2B and B2C, we are not going to address one. We are going to start by the B2B segment, but at the same time, we are going to start 1 week or 2 weeks to talk to startups to see if there is really a need. So the first tool I'm going to present is actually Sales Navigator because it allows me to source and contact leads. So this tool is going to serve me twice. Once to make actually my list of prospects and then to contact it. So this one is a bit tricky because LinkedIn Sales Navigator is quite expensive. I think that it's actually around TTC, so VAT included, I think it's around 90 euros per month. So this is a cost. So I'm going to start from the beginning on how I did it. So this is your dashboard on Sales Navigator. if you have some question, do not hesitate to raise your hand or interrupt me, activate your mic. So this is the dashboard of Sales Navigator. And sorry for non-French speakers, but basically here you have account lists, and then you have prospect lists, and then you have your different messages. So I know that I want to address, so I actually cheat a bit because I already prepared the lists. So it's called Formation Center, Training Center. And the first thing I did, sorry, is that I actually targeted the CEOs and founders of different startups. So how did I do that? So you can go on the search platform and you have like all these filters, all these criteria. The objective is having a reasonable number here. So no 10,000, but like 10 is not enough. So you have to balance, and I end up with a list of 100 people. So that's actually a nice number. So you can enter keywords. For example, I can use startup as a keyword. Spotlights. So if they changed their position, if they posted something on LinkedIn in the different in the last month or something. I can like filters if these prospects appeared in another list of mine, then I can shut it down on the research, or I can include this person. So for me, first of all, I'm interested in people in Paris. So I'm going to say Ville de Paris. I can also choose our relation level. So I want to target only people that I don't know. I can choose also the sector of activity, the schools they went, the language of the profile, because our training is not available in English yet. We are going to put French. You can even type the name and the surname. So I'm looking for people who have decision power. So basically, I'm going to take like propriété is like owner. PDG, it's the equivalent of CEO in French, or partner. I want a company that it's pretty new, so I'm going to put that they are in their actual position from less than a year or between 1 and 2 years. And maybe that too. Okay, their level of experience. There is a lot of different criteria that you can put to narrow down actually your research. And then I'm going to go to the enterprise filters. So this is the number of employees actually in the company. So I'm targeting only like small businesses. So I'm going to put independent and company where they are between 1 to 10 employees there. And what you can do also on LinkedIn is shut down something. For example, if you don't want to target independent, you can shut down that too. No, not this one actually, but if I don't want to have any, okay, it's not working on that one. I will show it later because no. Oh, okay, it's not working. So I will show it later, but you can like shut down criteria. So I have like a bit less than 200 results, which is not bad, actually, but can be a bit long to go over. So I'm going to go to search. And then all my prospects, all the person that fits my criteria, they're going to appear here. And I can add them to a list. So I can add them to my training center list if I think that they fit my targets. I can have information about them. So if I click on them, I have all this information, and I have also information about their company. Sorry. So basically, you can do it by hand. So you can add by hand. It can. I think for 200 results, it could take like 2 or 3 hours maybe to filter them all and add to your list only the one that interests you. And then once you do that, you obtain a list. So for me, it's list of prospects. So once I've done that, I have information. I have like a dashboard of my lists, and I can see if I contacted them. I can add notes, and I can see where they're from and the name of their company. So for now, I just want to make a list. So it's done for Sales Navigator for now, but I will come back to it later. And what I did also is that you can look for accounts. Like you can, for example, I have something called Young Startup. And then, because you can also make a research by account, so you can make lists using accounts. Sorry, I think that I'm going to be, no, okay. And then you can find the prospects, you can find people working actually on that company. So this is very useful for the B2B approach, because example, you are selling something, you have a brand, you are selling a product, and you want to target retailers, like in find new retailing channel, and you want to go to, I don't know, Le Printemps. So you can actually type Le Printemps, which for people who don't know is a big retailing store in Paris. And then you will have all the people working there, and you can actually target and find the people that interest you, that can make the decision of putting them in your store, you know. So you have like the same approach. You have like filters, and you can target, for example, the people that is responsible for partnerships, or for the retail, or for the pop-up in the shop. So you can, even for B2B, especially for B2B, Sales Navigator is very, very, very useful, because everyone is in LinkedIn, and this tool allows you to have information about everyone in LinkedIn. And the plus is that with Sales Navigator, they don't see actually that you are seeing their accounts. So this is the first tool. So I'm happy, I have a list, but this list is on LinkedIn. And I do want to have this list somewhere else, because it's very important not to be dependent of your tools in your prospection strategy. You have to have all your prospects in your own list somewhere. So what we are going to do is talk about scrapping. Scrapping basically is taking data from existing web pages or different things. So, so it's slightly invasive data extraction technique, basically, because there are a lot of tools. There are some of them require payments, other don't, but less and less are free. And it allows you to find email address, phone numbers, and every kind of information, actually. So yesterday I used Phantom Buster. I don't know if some of you are familiar with Phantom Buster. Okay, so I think it's a no. Do you guys still follow? Is it clear for now on Sales Navigator, or do you have question on Sales Navigator? if I don't go.
That's fine.
Okay, perfect.
Claire?
So basically, I didn't tell you guys, but after this session, I think you will still have a lot of questions. And if we can do like office hour, if you want, on each tools, how we can use it and how we can use it on your strategy. So you just ask me at the end, and we can do like group office hour or personal one if you want. So Phantom Buster, it's one of the most famous scrapping tools and growth hacking tool, and you're going to see why. So I create like 10 different Phantom Buster accounts, so I'm actually at my limits, and I can only have one Phantom here. And this is the Sales Navigator Profile Scrapper. Basically, it means that I'm going to go to, okay. Basically, I put the link of my list on Sales Navigator and I passed it there, and it ran, and it gave me this CSV file. I'm not going to open it because CSV on my computer opens on not Keynote, no Keynote, no Pages, the other one, and I hate it. So I'm not going to open it because I'm actually an Excel fan. But it gave me all the person that I put in my lists, and it gave me like their, it actually gave me that. So this is where it is important to have your list on your own, because you cannot be dependent of tools, because they are clever, and if you don't pay, they're going to lock your lists into their software. So at each time you are using a tool, refer to your own sheets or your own documents. So this is the list of the person that you saw on Sales Navigator. So on these parts, you can actually put everything that interests you. So I put the LinkedIn profile, the company name, the position, if I contacted them or not, the status. So the status, is this a prospect? Is it a lead? Is it a client yet? So this is, if you don't have a CRM, it's going to be useful, but there is a limit. So it gave me basically this list. So I'm going to go back to Phantom Buster because I'm going to, so this is one Phantom, and I'm going to present the different Phantom you can use on Phantom Buster. So they are available on LinkedIn. So you have different, this is what we call a Phantom. So you have LinkedIn Search Export, you have LinkedIn Profile Scrapper, because if you don't have Sales Navigator and you do not wish to pay it, which is understandable because it's actually quite expensive, you can go on your regular LinkedIn and actually do a search. Also, you will have way less filters, but it can allow you to actually make a good first list. So there is that. So on LinkedIn, you have the Sales Navigator and the normal LinkedIn Phantom. You can also boost your network. You can scrap. You can also, which is why is it also a growth hacking tool, is because you can also like extract the participant to a LinkedIn event. You can scrap all the people that liked a post on LinkedIn. So for example, if there is a post, what we did to invite some people to a big event we were organizing on growth hacking with Conquistador, what we actually did is that we scrapped all the people that liked Conquistador and growth hacking posts. We add them into a list and we send message to these people, inviting them, saying, oh, I saw that you like this post. Maybe this event could interest you. So this is more growth hacking than prospection, but Phantom Buster is actually useful for both. You can have exports on Google Maps. You can professional email finder. So I will come back to that because I do not use Phantom Buster to do that. I use two other tools because Phantom Buster can become quite expensive too now with their new business model. So basically, it will automate. It's also an automation tool, so more growth hacking on that. So you have a lot of different phantom. You can do it on Instagram too, especially if you have a brand. You can like extract all the people liking or following one of your competitors. Same for Twitter, same for Craigslist, even if it's not really used in France. So basically, it's very invasive in terms of the GDPR. It's very intrusive, but when you're trying to build a prospection or growth hacking strategy, it could be very useful to have all of this phantom. I will put in the list of the better tools, and you can have a look on yourself, or we can come back to it later. But Phantom Buster is actually an amazing tool. I am on the limited plan, so I can only have one phantom used at the time, and this is the one I use to make this famous Google Sheets. So maybe if we do another session on growth hacking tools, I can like spend more time on different. I could upgrade it for a week, and then we can spend more time on the different things you can do with Phantom Buster. So I have a nice list now, and now what I have to do is make this list better, because if you see it on the Google Sheets, I have no number and I have no mail address. So for that, different tools. You have scrap.io, which you can actually add on your extension, and once you are on a page, you can just put like your scrap.io is on my other browser, but you can have like your tool, and it will scrap automatically the page you are on. So you see, I'm a pretty invasive person, because Lucha is to find phone numbers, and scrap.io will find you mail address. And there is another tool, but you have to do it hand by hand. Sorry, I'm just checking if there is question. Okay, great. So you have also hunter.io. And I did the test with Creative Valley. So I just put Creative Valley, and it actually showed me everywhere on the net where a Creative Valley address went. So once you have the example of how the mail address is done, you can just deduce all the other. You have the one from Lucas here, because he appears on all those websites. So this is a pretty useful tool too, and it's free. I think you have a daily limit, but for now it's free. So the goal is really to have a perfect list. Well, you have all the information, and this could help you like for months. And then if we go further, and this is why I didn't do it, we go more on the sales part that's in the acquisition part. Because sales, and if you're interested, we can do a workshop on sales too. It's something else. It's someone you already approach, and then we can talk about sales pitch, how to close a deal, how to treat objections, but it's another part. Because yeah, I didn't explain, but I worked as a business developer for an ESN. So an ESN, it's what we call a French consulting company, and I sold prestation, donc consultants to big companies in IT. So basically my job was to do that, to build prospection lists and to shoot, call them. So I learned how to treat everything about sales, but this is not the subject of this workshop. Right. So then, how to contact them? You have a list, it's good, but how do I contact them? So my favorite tool, some of you may know it by the name Prospecting, but now it's Walaxy. At some point, I forget to precise, but a Google Sheet is great. But at some point, if these prospects, these leads turn into clients, you will have to invest in a CRM of any kind. For us, we use Airtable. It's cheap and it has the same codes that Excel and Google Sheets. So I think it's the best tool. But we also use HubSpot, which is a paying solution, a very complete, but a very that's a very complicated solution. Sorry, I think I'm going to have to move. So we are going to make like a 5-minute breaks because the room is being taken. So if you guys have questions, now is the moment. The time I find somewhere else to go. If you don't have questions, it's because it's very clear or very unclear. Pardon. Merci beaucoup. Ok, c'est bon. J'ai trouvé une salle juste à côté. So I find a room. So no question?
No. Just Chiara?
Yeah. Tell me.
Just for HubSpot, I don't find it so difficult to access. And yeah, perhaps it's...
are you using HubSpot?
No, I have a demo. It's one or 2 years before, but I started to enter inside because I was supposed to work with it. Okay. And I found that it's really powerful. And also ergonomic. So I don't know. You think that it's more easy to access Airtable, for example, than HubSpot?
What I can do is show you a bit of HubSpot later on our enterprise dashboard, so you can have a look. But
yeah.
HubSpot,
okay.
I think it's a real job to use HubSpot because you have static lists, dynamic lists. It's a bit complicated. But yeah, I can later I can show you my HubSpot dashboard.
Okay, thank you.
Two contacts. So prospecting now, which is Wallaxy. So it's a very nice tool, which will allow me to scrap also, but also to automate my messages, how to send message, basically. So it's going to automate a prospection campaign. So I'm actually more used to prospecting, which is a solution that still exists. But yesterday I created a Wallaxy account to show you. So for now, I didn't launch anything because, like I told you, my training center is not ready at all. But I can show you. So I already imported my prospect lists. So the Google Sheets doc that you have here, you can just put the link or put the CSV file and it's going to appear here. So you have the status, you have and you have the different action that you can see. So this is in gray. It means that I didn't do anything. So we are not connected. We don't share group. We don't share events. I don't have their mail address. And I didn't do any action with them. So no event, no invitation sent, no following, no view of their profile, no messages, nothing. And then we are going to go to campaigns. So I think the website is actually available in English, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go there to create a campaign. And there is different campaign. And I'm going to be able to choose the one that I want. So you have, for example, you have the Pluto one, which visit profiles, search for the email. So actually the software is going to visit the profile with your LinkedIn account and look for their mail address. And if they find it, they're going to extract it and add them to your lists. Then you have another campaign that will send a connection request and send a message. So basically, what it means is I have my list, and during 24 hours, it's going to run automatically. It's going to connect, to request connection and send message to the person on my list. You have actually quite a number of different campaign. You can, very complicated one, very simple one. The most complicated one that I tried, I think, and it was on prospecting, is like, go see the profile, send a connection with the notes, then two possibilities. The person accepted, they received a certain message. The person didn't accept, try again in a week to resend a connection. And if not, they went out of my campaign. Then if the person answered to my message, they received another message. And then you can go on and on and on and on, depending on the level of personalization and automation that you want to put. But basically, Wallaxy is one of the best, both prospecting and in growth hacking, because it will allow you to automate a lot of tasks and to create. If you want to have like very personalized messages to your prospects, you can just like put the first campaign, which is just visit the profile and then send a request, and then you can personalize everything and stop the automation there. You are actually pretty free on what you want to do. The only thing you have to be careful about Wallaxy, it's you have a free plan, but it lasts like a week. And then if I put my list only there, and I add and I add and I add, and I have all my beautiful list here, and I stop paying, it will block my list. I will be able to import prospects, but not export prospects from prospecting. Yeah, for the timeline, I will do it at the end to see how I'm going to do it. Yes, and with Wallaxy, Michael, you can actually do some scrapping too, because you can but it's on LinkedIn. This is why I advise you to use Hunter.io, which is specialized in finding email. Lucha too, but I think it's expensive too. So in Wallaxy, to put messages, so the messages, I can try to. So if I want to do, you can put response rate objective, which is actually great. So this is the workflow of the campaign. So you can see the different scenario and at which time the prospect is out, or at which times the prospect become a lead. And then you can personalize everything. So there, if I put there, I can put the message that I want to write. And there, I can put a variable, first name, last name, company. So this will automatically put the name of your prospect that is on the list. So the message is going to look like, hey Nathan, if you want to put the last name, I saw that you work for company. So I think this webinar could interest you, because really depends on why you are doing this campaign. Is it to make is it for crowdfunding? Is it to make your product more known? Is it to sell something? So it depends. You saw that within the 15 days, and I can change that period. If they didn't answer, then it's a failure and they go out of the campaign. And then you can personalize a second message, and then there is also always an end to each campaign. And this one is really not the more complicated one, but you can personalize everything. So with the invitation, you can send a note too, which helps most of the time. So Wallaxy is actually one of the best tools to automate the prospection campaign. Depending on your paying plan, it can take like 1 day to a week to perform a campaign. So it's really important that you keep track of everything. So I also use Sales Navigator as contacting tools because, sorry, there is a question, I think, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I also use LinkedIn as a contacting tools because it gave me access to 20 emails. I don't know if you already receive email in your life, but basically it's from either recruiter or someone trying to sell you your solution. But emails are messages that you can send to people that you are not connected with. So on my part, I use it to find experts for you. So for example, I contacted Arthur because I want him to do a workshop on Shopify. So I saw, I made a research, Shopify expert, and I contacted him on Sales Navigator, knowing that if the person answers you, you have your credit back. So it's 20 per month, but if it leads to a conversation, then you have your credit back. So basically, I have 20 credits all the time because I'm not aggressive in my message. So I'm not like, people usually answer me, even if it's a no. So I contacted a lot of people to make intervention, to make workshop, but you can also do that with prospects, especially in B2B, because you will be able to send a message directly to the person in charge of partnerships au printemps, for example. And if your message is good enough, then this person will answer you and you can go on to another person. So emails are actually quite useful too, especially in B2B, because you will have a more qualitative approach and less quantitative. So if you work on your first contact message, it's an amazing tool too. So to contact, basically, I do use Wallaxy and X-Prospecting and Sales Navigator. And we also use HubSpot. So HubSpot, I don't know. No. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to have to change my browser. Can you hear me? Because I received a notification saying that I was disconnected. You're still there, right?
Yes, Chiara, we still
Okay,
there.
perfect. So this is the HubSpot dashboard. So this is a CRM. It enables you to do actually everything. So you have different contacts, you have the different conversation, you have the different marketing action that you can do, because you can create ads, you can create emails, you can create campaign, and to follow your sales in terms of person, in terms of number. It actually gives you reports on the evolution of your sales. And you can also have an after sales, I don't know how to say service client in English, SAV, but after sales care, I think. And you also have automation. So basically, you have a lot of mailing solution. You have MailChimp, you have Lemlists, you have HubSpot. And mailing solutions are really great because they are quite invasive too. So if I want to go and show you, Okay, I can show you the last newsletter that we sent, for example. So we sent a newsletter. We designed it on HubSpot directly, and it will give me like feedbacks. So this is the open rate. So our newsletter was opened by half of the person we send it to. This is the click rate. So 25% of this 50% actually clicked somewhere on the mail. No one answered. It's great. 0 people unsubscribe for a newsletter after this one. And you can also see which person actually clicked on where. And so this email was read. You have the engagement through time. So you are whether this was open on Gmail on iOS. So this is quite invasive, but it will help you to track the mail you are sending and to see their performance. But you can also actually do that on Lemlist too, which is why I don't use, there is a question before, I think. Yeah, Sales Navigator is very expensive. About personalized message, Gwenaël, sorry. Yes and no, because Wallaxy is still doing a pretty good job. And for doing so, it really depends. It really depends on what you are saying to these people. I think that the first step shouldn't be aggressive. You should let the people make the decision on whether they want to answer or not. So it could be, all right, I just think that we might be of interest to each other and that we should connect and we can talk about that. You know, it can be very general, and once you create a conversation with the people, then it's your job as a salesperson or just a co-founder to make an impact and to personalize their message. So on Lemlist, this is a mailing tool too. So to do that, you will have to find the mail of the different people, but you can do like A/B testing on your emails. You can personalize them, and you can create sequences. First mail on the first week, second mail on the second week, and etc. I think we don't have the time to speak about workflow, but if you are interested, we actually do our workflow on Miro. So basically, it's the different sequences that we use for our acquisition strategy. And it's a bit like what you saw on Wallaxy. It looks a bit like, I don't know, it's gone. Like the different arrows and the different scenarios. So I don't use Lemlist because we have a HubSpot, so we are not going to use another tool. But it's actually way cheaper, and you see the UX, it's actually great. It was meant for startups, so it's nice. You have a lot of templates, and it enables you to test and set objectives on your strategy. So this is what I use, but like I told you, there are a lot of tools out there. What you need to remember is that you need to use the right channel to address your different targets. It can be LinkedIn message, it can be email, or it can be mail. For people who have brands, it's also can be on Instagram, but you have to, you can't contact everyone the same way, because either they are B2B or B2C, it's not the same thing at all. So you have to understand and keep tracks of the different channels you are using, because this is why I use a Google Sheet. I really use Airtable, but I use a Google Sheet here. It's because you have to keep track of everything you are doing on your different tools, or you are going to lose at some point information and leads. So you have to have a big document where you center everything, and then you can keep track. Because the most important thing in acquisition and on growth hacking too is to monitor your results. to set KPIs objective and follow the status of your leads, because leads, if you do it right, will become clients, and this is the heart of your business. So a right tool for you own, so it can be a table, but it could be a Google Sheet, or it could be HubSpot too. Set weekly or monthly objectives, number of people contacted, number of the response rate, the number of conversation created, the number of appointments you took following that. And then if you do that, you can convert leads into clients, because that you have your prospect base. But once you have that, you can work on your funnel and how to retention, the workshop that Luca did. And then you can work on really how to keep these clients, how to fidelize them, and how to close basically them. So that's it for the tool presentation. Now I wanted to keep time. If you have any question, if you want us to see other tools, but this is where I really wanted to talk about you, prospection strategy, where you are now. Like, have you tried to make a document? Have you tried to contact people? Have you tried to put something into place and have like sorry, Gonel. So for the timeline of the thing I use, the first tool I use is Sales Navigator, because it allows me to be very qualitative about my lists. And if I don't make mistake there, if I have a list of 100 qualitative prospects, I gain so much time after. So Sales Navigator. Then I use some scrapping tools to put them on my Google Sheet and to enrich that list. So to find numbers or email address. And then I go to the contact tools. So because I use Wallaxy to contact process. So Wallaxy and HubSpot for me. You can see on different forums or videos that there are a lot of people that are not using the tools in the same order as I do. But yeah, on my timeline, this is how I use it. So Varun, can we do another workshop on formulating the first contact message when prospecting? Yeah, sure. We can do, actually, what we could do is office hour in groups with that. So how do you write the first message? We can, yeah, we can do that and verticalize it on fashion. Yeah, because I think on fashion, it could be interesting because your canals, like I thought, are very different. You can use Instagram, you can use Facebook, you can also use LinkedIn, but in another way. So it could be interesting to talk about the strategy in fashion. Because I think that we didn't talk about it. Why old-time fashion, Vincent? Parce que they're here. C'est les plus motivés, hein, au final. Yeah, we can do about tech for good too. I advise you to put CTA. So this is more growth hacking technique than an acquisition technique. But basically, to create a community, put CTA. Either it's a call with you, either it's an invitation to a pop-up, to an after-work, to a webinar or something. But I think it's very important to put call to action into your different messages. Does someone has like a perfect prospection strategy, or have some tools that we didn't talk about that they want to share with others? Yeah, we also I have templates if you want on KPIs sheets that you can use. We use tables, and I can send it to you, or we can do office hour about that, how to keep tracks of your campaigns and your results. So we can do an office hour about that too. Yeah, sure. So no one has a cool tool that I didn't heard of and that you want to share? And no question, I guess. It's okay if you don't. So I will send you a list. Hemasphere, it's focused on fashion buyers. Okay. Yeah. Basically, prospection and acquisition, it's bootstrapping. It's using all the free things that you can get out there to build your community and to find your prospects and turn them into clients. So it's a long road. I know some of you didn't address that yet. The whole, I'm going to need to attack my market at some point, but it's very, very time consuming. But if you don't have that, you will have no business. And it could be quite scary when you don't know the tools, when it could be very complicated. But when you go into it, actually, you have to see it like a game where you set objective and you just have to shoot. You have to shoot, you have to talk to people, you have to pivot, change your strategy. This is why, did you see the workshop on the A/B testing? It's very important to test, and that's very true also for your prospection campaign. Okay, this didn't work, I'm going to try something else. No, you have to, yeah. So what we can do is on the Slack, I'm going to put messages like office hour on the first contact, office hour on how to set KPIs, and you can react to the session you are interested in, and then I will send you a message so we can organize that. And this office hour could be like a sharing experience too. If some of you are pro in prospection, they can also come and give advices to others. Do some of you have acquisition issues, like you don't find your a good dashboard to follow your KPIs in terms of acquisition? You mean, Michael? Okay, yeah, sure, we can work on that too. If you guys have any ideas on how we can help each other, do not hesitate. Enjoy your free trial on these different tools, because it's not a problem I face often is that prospects don't respond. Yeah, if prospects don't answer, it's that you have a problem in your contact. Whether you are too aggressive or you are not addressing the right people. So if you guys don't have question, or if no one wants to share something, I will set you free. So yeah, if you're interested in the list also of the best acquisition tools, don't hesitate. Michael, you seem to be an acquisition pro.
Not exactly, but like I think maybe I can have some tools that the same for LinkedIn. Like most of the time, people. I mean, there is a lot of people watching at you. Like they're watching your profile and stuff, and I think that people doesn't really use that possibility to call them back, like to have a call, an action about that, because if people are looking on your profile, it also means that they can be interesting on your I mean, or the theme, the subject, or something that you can do with them. And even if they check your profile, but they don't send you like a message, or they don't ask you as a contact, you can definitely check what they're doing to try to call them back and say, oh, you know what, I just saw that you check my profile, and actually I think that there is maybe something to do, so just have a call. And actually most of the time on that kind of thing, it works like 80% of the time they're responding.
Yeah.
So this is also like a good tool, I think.
Yeah,
like a
CTA
good
are very important, because if it doesn't lead you anywhere to the person becoming a client or to something else, then you have lost your time. This is why in your strategy you really have to set a call to action. It can be anything, but there have to be a trigger, something in your prospect saying, okay, I have to do that. So office hour.